I'm a bad motherfucker.
World to do. Oh, maybe smear Julian Assange, which they did. But
She's
here we
a
go.
Teacher of some kind.
Here we go. She used to, yeah.
Or in Iran. Like there was a time when the government engaged in all sorts of unsavory schemes across the globe.
There was
That's
a time.
definitely true, okay? That's not the government we have today. How does anyone...
What? Hassan is smarter than her.
Hassan is Jenk's
He's
nephew.
the smart one. Hassan.
I love how she says unsavory schemes. Hey, this scheme needs more salt.
What a bland scheme.
Oh, wait, maybe Anna means now that the intelligence community is scheming against American citizens more than the other countries. Is that what she? Because that's what's happening
well,
also.
Then I take back the Hassan crack.
Okay. Okay, here we go. This is amazing. This is, if I was going to write a parody sketch, you can't do it.
No.
It's already a parody.
I tried many times.
This is.
I'll never.
You're not even going to get this kind of CIA propaganda from Rachel Maddow. That's how, or Anderson Cooper. Even they can't do this with a straight face. Maybe she should go into acting because she's really nailing it.
She believes the stupid thing. Like Cenk, you can tell is faking it.
But she's so dumb she believes it.
She's like, Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines. And she's emotional. Then she finds out crime is bad.
Hey, here we go.
That's definitely true, okay? That's not the government we have today. How does anyone look at the, like honestly, I don't think the current federal government is even competent enough to carry out a coup. I mean, they tried multiple times in Venezuela and failed.
Nobody's saying that the CIA is extra competent.
Yeah.
We're saying they're funded to the gills. They go into other countries. They fund rebel groups, and so they will now start a civil war in other countries. That's what the whole Arab Spring was.
You know what this dumb is?
The whole Arab. Look what we did in Libya. Nothing we did was smart. Nothing we did in Afghanistan was smart. This isn't about being smart or competent. This is about taking money from the U.S. Treasury and transferring it to the international security state, to the military-industrial complex. It's got nothing to do with the CIA being smart. This isn't about doing things that make the world better. This is about a money laundering organization. That's what this is all about. And they don't get that. They still think that the people of the CIA are the good guys trying to get good things done. They think Victoria Nuland's a good person. They think Fauci's a good person. They think Bill Gates is on the up and up, and he really wants to help people. That's how dumb these people are. I think that's how dumb she is. I think Cenk is just bought.
Yeah. Do you hear the argument she's making?
Because she doesn't get any of that money. Believe me.
Yeah. She's just taking the... There is no cancel culture because Dave Chappelle still works.
That's right.
She's just doing that?
Yes. Yes.
Unbelievable.
All right, I'm going to try to not stop it. I can't help it, though.
No, let's mock them.
Okay, here we go. Let's start it from the top. There
was a time in America where the State Department would carry, the Pentagon would orchestrate and carry out coups in, Latin American countries, for instance, or in Iran. Like there was a time when the government engaged in all sorts of unsavory schemes across the globe. That's definitely true, okay? That's not the government we have today. How does anyone look at the, like honestly, I don't think the current federal government is even competent enough to carry out a coup. I mean, they tried multiple times in Venezuela and failed. And like the way, some of the MAGA Republicans, quite honestly, talk about the federal government makes me think, oh my God, they're asleep at the wheel. They don't understand just how incompetent the federal government is. They can't get anything straight. They can't get anything straight. And you guys think that they're like...
Yeah, so...
including the First Amendment, your rights, all the things that... It's a lot of things are fucking up.
And they also, in Syria... which you guys lied about to your audience about Syria, the CIA was funding one group of Islamic terrorists, while the Pentagon was funding another group of Islamic terrorists, and they would often fight each other with United States money. That's how they're right. They are incompetent, but the idea that they're still not causing civil wars, trying to decapitate leaders, they've been trying to get rid of Assad, but Assad had Russia backing him up, which is why they couldn't get rid of him. They did it in Iraq. They did it in Libya, Yemen, Somalia, Afghanistan. Afghanistan spent $1 trillion there, and what did it get? We got we kicked out the Taliban, and they got replaced with the Taliban.
Make Afghanistan great again, huh?
So again, she's so dumb she doesn't understand that this isn't about actually accomplishing things.
Yeah, Anya, whatever. Anna, yes. Obviously, Ukraine was an embarrassing failure that shouldn't have been attempted by our State Department. That's not going to stop them from doubling down, is it?
The news about the 2014 Maidan coup hasn't even made it to TYT or their audience yet. Do you know that? They've never talked about it. They don't report. And now they just stopped talking about Ukraine because it's too embarrassing, I think, for them. Anyway, I'll try not to stop it again. Here we go.
They're wiretapping you, and they're scheming, and they're planning on throwing Tucker Carlson in prison for talking to Vladimir Putin? Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, look,
man.
We know for a fact that they were
Wiretapping him?
They're wiretapping his phone. And
they do it all the time.
And they were intercepting his text messages.
Call FISA court.
We know for a fact.
Professor.
The FBI lied to the FISA court 17 times during Russiagate to try to get phone taps on Donald Trump. They got him.
Ask Jeffrey Katzenberg. He probably knows about it.
Ask Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Ask this fat asshole next to you.
I interviewed the CIA agent a long time ago, about now nearly 10 years ago. It was a really amazing interview. She told me about honeypot schemes and stuff and how they trick their targets into thinking that they're going to get a sexual relationship. Like, it was an amazing, very candid interview. And she's like, look, this whole thing, and that deep state stuff on the right wing hadn't started yet. She's like, the number one problem with the CIA is they've become bureaucrats. And
oh my dear God.
So Cenk talked to a CIA.
Last he heard 10 years ago.
Cenk talked to a CIA lady a decade ago, and she told him they don't do that stuff anymore.
So not at the same country. That's why everything's going so great.
You can't make this up.
I want to see the interview. I'm dying to know who the
I would love.
was.
Yeah, I would love to
I
see.
wonder if she's a man now.
Scott Ritter, who knows something about something, he says, "Let me introduce you to the Special Activities Center. The CIA may be incompetent, that I grant you, but to say they don't carry out covert actions designed to undermine and overthrow the governments of sovereign states is a whole new level of stupid.
Or disingenuous.
The CIA is the greatest threat to global stability in the world today. They did Iraq twice. They did Libya, Somalia, Yemen, Syria.
You were there.
Afghanistan.
How do you not remember this?
Ukraine. But they believe it. They believe the. Well, I'll show you in a second. No other single organization is involved in the violation of law, including our own, more than the CIA. America and the world would be a far better and safer place without the CIA. That's Scott Ritter, who knows something about something. And by the way, Scott Ritter thinks that we should abolish the CIA. Then what the hell are Netflix or Amazon Prime supposed to make movies about?
The other 17 were groups that are undercover.
You got to be a former CIA and have someone kidnap your daughter just to get a deal made over there.
They had to change the story from he sold his daughter to blame Albanians.
Even Jacobin magazine says U.S.-backed far-right-led revolution in Ukraine helped bring us to the brink of war. U.S.-backed. That means CIA, far-right-led revolution in Ukraine. But that news has yet to make it to TYT about how the Ukraine war actually started, and that has yet to make it to their audience, which they almost have no audience. So their whole audience left them during Forced to Vote.
Did you see
and they've been destroyed.
You see the bottom banner where it's...
So now they make almost all their money off of cop videos on Facebook. They make a lot of money off Facebook, off of cop videos. That guy, I'm blanking on the guy's name who does them.
Schuster.
David Schuster does these videos that they put on Facebook, and they have these programs with people. They split the money. They make a lot of money off Facebook. They make they have no audience here, and they're boosted by the corporate algorithm. So if they get subscribers, if they get views, it's because they're being boosted by the corporate algorithm. Because they're a partner with YouTube. They're owned by Jeffrey Katzenberg, one of the top DNC donors. So they get all the special treatment you could possibly get from YouTube.
Did you see the page?
And you know why they get that, Kurt?
Why?
Because they'll never say anything against the establishment when it comes to war or when it comes to Ukraine or Syria or COVID or lockdowns or They'll lie to you about everything and anything. They sold their own email list to the DNC.
Justice is coming. Did you see the Patreon members flashing the bomb when they're talking? Because they'll say executive producer, because they get money, and it said gay as fuck dragon, gay AF dragon.
No,
that's one of Katzenberg's kids probably.
Okay, so here we go. Another crazy conspiracy theory over at Jacobin. Anyway.
Well, they believe in climate change.
By the way, here is Global Research, Anatomy of a Coup, how the CIA front laid the foundation for the Ukraine war, a war that's currently happening. Anna Kasparian,
who wrote that?
The flasher, Anna Kasparian, and Cenk Horsefucker Uygur are going to tell you with a straight face
he just would film
that the CIA doesn't do this stuff anymore. But here is Jacobin to tell you that they are. Oh, maybe they're angry at Jacobin because they canceled Anna's show that no one watched. Remember, she used to have one on YouTube.
She's sick of petty crime and that crime.
Yeah. So here's telling you. So a war that's currently happening, a war that they're for, by the way. They're for the CIA. So now here is Cenk Uygur to tell you that the CIA should be even worse than they are.
You're going to miss Mehdi Hassan's great takes when you hear this.
When you hear this, watch this.
Like in the old days, man, they could do some coups.
Yeah.
Now I believe we have the opposite problem. They're not evil enough. Okay. Like I don't think that they're not doing anything, right? But are they risking their lives to infiltrate? I mean, no, we never infiltrated Al Qaeda. Yeah. I mean, that's unbelievable to me.
Our own thing.
Right?
If he'd infiltrated Hillary's emails, he'd know they fight for us in Syria.
Exactly. If he read Hillary's emails, but instead of reading Hillary's emails, he smeared Julian Assange. So do you see how
they didn't even infiltrate Al Qaeda?
They didn't even infiltrate you, moron. Hang on.
Embarrassing for our intelligence.
Who's that guy?
No, they don't want to go through.
He's
that
a
risk.
CIA guy.
That's my assessment. They're willing to take some risk, but not risk their lives. But that's the CIA. You're supposed to do that. And hopefully in the service of U.S. citizens.
In fact, a lot of people you'd meet there would surprise you. They tend to be politically liberal, and I wouldn't say
no kidding.
Authoritarian. Mm-hmm. But they think that America is generally a good country, and things like overthrowing governments to protect the interests of United Fruit is probably good for America, and therefore good for the world.
I would have thought the same.
They're saying the CIA are good people, and they think when they overthrow governments that they're good people.
Is that guy a CIA guy?
I don't know who that guy is. He's an author. He wrote some book.
He looks like
a huge I did back then. Very patriotic. I'm still very patriotic. But for all the great things that America does, CIA is doing good in the world. So I would have been right in that same class. So it's not surprising to me that there's a lot of thoughtful liberals, progressives, etc.
Oh my God.
in the CIA.
Watching the two of them with the T and the thing, it looks like twat versus twat. Did you see how the lettering was behind them?
So
like in the old days, man, they could do some coups.
They be gooing.
Now I believe we have the opposite.
They're just good people.
They're not evil enough. Okay.
They're not evil enough.
I don't think that they're not doing anything, right? But are they risking their lives to infiltrate? I mean, no, we never infiltrated Al Qaeda. I mean, that's unbelievable to me.
Well, here, Jack, let me let you know something. Even the LA Times knows that they did. In Syria, militias armed by the Pentagon fight those armed by the CIA. That would be Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, and ISIS.
Call your fucking nephew. He'll explain it to you.
Call Hassan.
You fat dunce.
That fucking meathead Hassan can explain this to you.
Call your jock, better informed video game streamer political nephew who knows more about this than you.
Behind the sudden death of $1 billion secret CIA war. That's in the New York Times, August 2nd, 2017. The shuttering of the CIA program, one of the most expensive efforts to arm and train Syrian rebels.
Al Qaeda, AQ on our side.
Who do you think that is? That's Al Qaeda. That's ISIS. That's Al Nusra. Exclusive CIA-backed aid for Syrian rebels frozen. Secret CIA effort in Syria faces large funding cut. So so this whole Arab Spring was the CIA. That's what that was. That was Libya. That was Syria. Here, you want to know? Here's General Wesley Clark going to tell you what the CIA does and what their plans are.
MAGA, right?
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the joint staff who used to work for me. And one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got come in, you got to come in and talk to me a second. I said, well, you're too busy. He said, no. He says, we've made the decision we're going to war with Iraq. This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, we're going to war with Iraq? Why? He said, I don't know. He said, I guess they don't know what else to do. So I said, well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda? He said, no. He says, there's nothing new that way. They've just made the decision to go to war with Iraq. He said, I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments. And he said, I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail. So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
Wow. All that stuff, that happened 30 years ago? Oh, no, that's happening right now.
It's a different government, even though all the same people are still there.
Even all the same people in the deep state.
The one fat one just now retired after all the help she gave.
Victoria
Thank
Nuland.
You for your service,
she
by
finally
the way,
quit.
Miss Noodleman.
Victoria Nuland was in the George Bush and Dick Cheney administration. Victoria Nuland was in Barack Obama's. Victoria Nuland was in Joe Biden's administration.
Give my best to your husband, Robert Kagan.
This idea, this is unbelievable.
Well, it's not believable. He's a full of shit. What they are is a luxury brand now. They don't have a lot of view. So it's stuff that mass, people don't actually like, except for a very small number of wealthy people, and that's who it's for. It's like a brand that you don't get because you're not like wealthy enough.
Yeah. And by the way, so if they're not doing coups anymore and all that stuff, where is all the money going that we're giving the CIA? Why do they are they building 15-minute countries? You got everything you need as long as you don't need anything.
Shake and bake. Yeah.
So that's General Wesley Clark. What would he know? And everything he said has come true.
He's a man. You sound rooted in misogyny.
I'm the CIA. You may remember me from such films as WMDs in Iraq. We don't know how this cocaine is getting in here, and hey, it's the Russians. Look, it's the Russians. Here, this is another great
They're
cartoon.
super liberal. Gloria Steinem said that when she was a CIA.
Yeah, she was working for the
industry plant.
1947, that's the CIA, and that's Truman.
Yeah.
And he was 1963, JFK is like, hey, CIA, heel. Now, that's the CIA, and that's your government leaders.
That's all good, except the one with Kennedy. That dog should have been behind the bushes with a second gun.
That's right. What about when Chuck Schumer went on Rachel Maddow in 2016 and said that Trump's... I can't believe I don't have that video loaded in this program.
They have 6
that
ways
he says
to Sunday.
If he thinks he's smart, he's being really dumb to mess with this intelligence community because they have 6 ways to Sunday to mess with you. And what he was telling you is that the CIA and the FBI don't work for the president. That they're permanently... That he should be the president of the United States should be afraid of the deep state, the permanent state.
No, Jimmy.
And now he calls the idea of a deep state or a permanent state a right-wing crazy idea.
Okay, can I tell you how I take it personally as a shit lib when he said it? Because I go, oh, what he's saying is, yeah, obviously they wouldn't do that to us, the good guys. They work for us, and Trump's a criminal, and so of course they're going after a criminal. That's how you should Chelsea Clinton take it, you know?
Here is Dr. Druid says, it's not that you're CIA. It's that you're the head of a progressive news network who doesn't and can't threaten or challenge anyone in power. TYT is harmless. Jimmy Dore, Joe Rogan, Alex Jones are your concern.
Alex Jones is a goddamn Pulitzer Prize journalist.
Compared to these people.
I mean, compared to a lot of stuff now, it turns out, actually.
And if you want to see why people think that Cenk Uygur works for the CIA, well, why else would you do something like this?
Well, obviously it's hard to tell who's telling the truth here.
But lately, I have to confess that WikiLeaks has not had an astounding record. You know, the way that...
Hey, look, even he doesn't believe it. He's like, it's if you're not being paid to say... He looks like he's being paid to say that.
So his job
of course
is to
he's
make
saying
up crap to tell shitlibs what they want to hear.
Yes.
And he knows it.
He knows it.
And it's hard for him.
Yes.
Anna, God bless Anna. It could just go right in her head and come out emotionally.
Assange seems to be backing Donald Trump over and over and over again.
Great job.
It makes me very seriously question Assange's efforts to actually be a journalist and not to be a partisan. And I get it. I get why he hates the Democrats. They're trying to put him in prison. Okay,
right. But
at the same time,
so are Republicans. Let's be clear about that.
And now the Republicans are too, and they have been in the past. But it seems like Assange has picked a side, and look, it makes me question his reporting, and so that's the situation we're in now. Now is he just leaking things that he gets, and no matter what, in which case I would respect that, or is he selectively leaking based on his political motives? Now that suspicion is out there and it's real and it's possible, well, now I'm concerned that it can't be trusted.
You know
so you're telling me that you did that without somebody dangling money in front of your face? Were you either trying to get a donor or more Katzenberg cash, or you just know that you're paid to lie about Julian Assange and Russiagate and Ukraine? Because that's all they do.
Hillary Clinton.
They lied about Syria. They lied about the people telling the truth about Syria. They tried to blackmail me over Syria.
Okay,
that's what they're doing.
Two things I learned. One, he's the George and she's the Lenny. Like, he's going to be telling her about the rabbits eventually, because he's like takes care of her because she's she jumped in the river and isn't so smart no more.
And so I guess he thinks that they can memory hold this. But I'm not. I got the video, so I'm never going to let people forget about it.
Yeah, but Jimmy, keep in mind when you
I've got a more popular show than you do.
When you hear about stuff that's like a lot of like nonsense. Or agency cutout kind of stuff, like consulting firms that work to find homegrown racisms and all that shit. They will quote the Young Turks on the regular.
Oh, you're kidding.
So like the morons.
So they're like Bellingcat kind of.
Yeah, it is like, it's not quite like like they did have people that watch them. Bellingcat, no one knows what that is outside of the biggest dipshit.
Yeah.
DC related to intelligence people. No one knows about it, but people knew about, and they get quoted in all like Gamergate 2 nonsense. They're quoted by the DHS consulting group about how extremism can start in video games. They quote, I think they quote his nephew actually. Actually, I forgot. They're quoting Hassan and not him, but they're all plugged in to that like consulting agency, hate online kind of bullshit. It's like a Bellingcat. It is.
Well, hey, the fun continues, though. We will see you. We're doing a second show April 7th in London. So if you couldn't get tickets to the Leicester Square show on April 6th, you can get it on April 7th. I've got some more to show you. So just to let you know that the Young Turks have been for every war ever. Here's what happened. Remember we just covered what happened to Libya? And how the reason why they overthrew Libya and painted Muammar Gaddafi as a madman was because he was going to start his own currency called the Afro that was going to compete with the euro and the American dollar. And Hillary Clinton's emails revealed they can't have that, and that's why they did that. So that's why they overthrew Libya and turned it into a failed state. And so here's Cenk Uygur cheering that on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Down goes Gaddafi. It appears down goes Gaddafi. So right now, we have not gotten Gaddafi captured yet, but it appears that he has lost control of Tripoli. 2 of his sons are gone, meaning Saif al-Islam.
Have you ever seen someone so excited about wrecking a country and slaughtering people to do it for Western hegemony and imperialism?
Dude, he looked like if Eddie Haskell was fat and Turkish.
He couldn't be happy.
Great, Mrs. Cleaver.
Yeah.
He's like the most insincere fat fuck.
And 2 other sons are actually been captured. Then we've got Kamis and Mutasim, who are still apparently fighting. So a couple of sons out there and a couple of sons detained. One of the sons detained said, me? No, I've been with the Libyan people the whole time. What, there's a war going on? I didn't know that. No, I've always been for freedom. Come on, dude.
Come on, okay? His prime minister has already fled to Tunisia, and people in Tunisia are like, we don't know why he showed up here, but he, you know why? Because he had to get the hell out of Tripoli, okay? Because it's over. OVAH, Gaddafi's done, okay? Now, who's the man who supported the Libya policy when almost no one else did? Hey, Jesus, can you remind me who that was? Let's just take a quick look here.
But when you go to the substance of whether they should have done the no-fly zone or not, if I was in Congress, would I have voted for it? Given the limited scope of it, yes, I would have agreed to it. It's very ironic because I'm usually very tough on Obama, as people who watch this show know.
But I'm for every war.
I get a lot of heat from progressives.
He was for the expansion of the Afghanistan war under Obama. He was for the Libya action. He's for the Syria war. He's for Ukraine war. There isn't a war he doesn't like.
I'm fiscally conservative, but I'm socially loose on horse fucking.
Well, not really progressives, but from Democrats for being that way. But it looks like the only country who's really supporting him fairly wholeheartedly on the substance of this is me. Of course, that's a wild overstatement. I'm sure other people support him on it as well. But there have been a lot of people in the news coming out and saying, I think it's a good policy.
Now, look at that. I supported Obama on Libya. You know why? Not because I like Obama or I don't like Obama. Not because I like Democrats or Republicans. It's because I thought it was the right policy. Now, at the time, you remember a lot of liberals said, oh, no, we can't do Libya. It's not the right way to go. And the conservatives said, oh, we...
So he's proud of it. He's proud of it. He wants credit for Libya. Cenk Uygur.
Wait, now,
he's
is this
proud of it.
After the slave markets or this before?
This is right during.
Oh.
So here...
Wait, he's Turkish as hell.
So let's... But this is him talking about me, saying that I'm lying about him. Watch.
Everything he says is over the top, ridiculous. It's lies. His lies about me are endless. If you ever listen to anything he says,
but don't
listen. It's a terrible mistake. He says I'm in favor of bombing Syria. I've never said that. He's a preposterous liar.
Preposterous.
Ooh, it's like a.
Well, let's see. Let me see. Did I lie?
Now let me show you why they don't want to take military action. First of all, the American people have been polled. They don't want to go. 62% say hell no. 24% say yes. Now, I'm partly in the yes category. This is a rare situation where I'm not in the center of the country. Like, I love to show polls and show, look, my position is the same as the American people. Here, I don't want ground troops. That would be an absolute mess.
Well, you're for bombing?
But I think if we drew a red line and we said, hey, listen, we're going to set a precedent not to use chemical, biological, or nuclear weapons, and a dictator has crossed that line, I think using our Air Force is a significant possibility. And we could, knock down their entire fleet probably fairly quickly and efficiently,
real easy.
thereby giving the rebels a much bigger advantage and sending a message without having to risk ground troops. It doesn't mean you don't risk anything, and it does cost a lot of money. I get all that, and there's significant downsides. But we can't have our bluff called and not do anything about it.
We can't have our bluff called and not. We got to bomb some motherfuckers.
You know, Jimmy, I still respect him for not going on Ozempic.
So here I am. Here he is to my face, after he called me a preposterous liar saying that Cenk was for bombing Syria. Here he is to my face telling me he's for bombing Syria. Watch this. I'm the only one on the panel, by the way, who's against bombing Syria. Johnny Applepie was for it. Guy who never had an original thought in his life, ever. Ben Mankiewicz, host of Turner Classic Movie. He was for bombing Syria. So is Cenk Uygur. Watch.
I'm curious, Jimmy, that you might agree with that. Like, that this doesn't accomplish much, and hence what's the point? But does that mean that if it did accomplish more, you'd be in favor of it, or no? No. So you're against it under all circumstances?
So under all circumstances, I'm against it, because it's just more war and there's no reason to it. Certainly not the reason they're giving us. I have a hard time believing that Barack Obama gives a shit about the civilians in Syria. I really don't think he cares. And because if he did care, if that was really the litmus test of innocent people, why aren't we bombing North Korea? Why aren't we bombing?
Because we can't. Isn't that fair? Look, I'm going to take you guys on that, okay? Because so we can't bomb Russia if Russia uses chemical weapons, because we don't want to start World War III. You're right, absolutely, right? Okay, but why don't we take?
What about countries that can't fight back?
Now we can fight Russia.
What about countries? Yeah, but now we can.
Yeah, right.
Right.
World War III now.
Now he's for World War III. But But back then he was just for bombing countries that can't fight back. Watch.
Oh, take the low-lying fruit.
Low-lying fruit, he calls it.
Like, send a message wherever we practically can. So
send a message wherever we can. Bomb every country wherever we can.
Not to trust us.
That's what he's saying.
Terrorists. We are killing your family.
Korea, I'd love to decapitate all the leaders in North Korea and set that country free. But we might lose Seoul, South Korea, and millions of people. We can't do it, right? And if we can do it in Syria and help some people, well, okay, that's a good place to start.
There he is strenuously advocating for bombing Syria after he called me a preposterous liar. Preposterous.
If you whip out the word preposterous like in modern times, I think that you're the liar. That's preposterous.
So here's my response.
Collectively enforce the laws because it breeds disrespect and contempt for the law. So if you're trying to uphold international law selectively, you're doing the exact opposite. You're undermining international law because we illegally invaded Iraq and a million people were killed, displaced other millions. How many thousands of innocent people were killed in that? That was an illegal war. We lied about it. If nobody kept us in check, somehow we have to still keep other people in check.
So now you'd want another country to come bomb the United States because we crossed a red line and we went into Iraq illegally and killed 1 million people. You'd be for someone would morally be right. So that's what Cenk is advocating for.
I'm a brawler. I'm a ballroom brawler.
I said it yesterday. You can't have Tony Soprano giving out parking tickets. It doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, but if you...
I don't know why Israel flipped on it, but they did. So is that part of our decision-making? Have you been paying attention to American politics? Of course it's part of our decision-making. But I don't view that as nefarious. I view that as like, I don't know, like if you're Israel, Assad is never going to harm you. And so the fact that they're now saying we should attack Assad, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Not a bad thing to go ahead and attack Syria and Assad. Here's another one. Here's Black of the Empire says, reminder, in just a couple of weeks, Cenk Uygur has used his Twitter to reduce the occupation of Palestine into a battle of sky gods, defend the establishment's illegal bombing of Syria, and now to push Cold War propaganda with McCarthyism, home of the progressives. So I don't know what kind of mental defective you have to be a victim of a head injury to still watch that show for news.
You got to be in their specific clique. Like
it's
everybody that watches that. It's like somebody that would watch like Pod Save America or like the Reader of the Atlantic.
Yeah,
that's a specific. It's like Goop.
But MSNBC's already there.
But no,
right?
No,
CNN is already
for your
there.
Mom. That's for your
I guess you're right.
Mom. You want like your millennials. That's one of the last millennial fake progressive rich kid things still around. Like Jezebel closed a long time ago. All that shit's closing. They're the last one around.
They are.
Vice is gone.
All right, over to Steph.
Okay, Jimmy, make your announcement. We're going to go over to Rumble.
I want to remind people about our show in England.
Oh, remind them about the show in England.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate shitty coffee? I, for one, really hate shitty coffee, which is why I'm excited to introduce to you a company that's revolting against shitty coffee, and it's called the 1775 Coffee Company. Now, I haven't had it yet because I only drink decaf. Steph has had it. Steph, how do you like it?
I really like it. You know what? I have a French press, and so I've been using my French press and totally enjoying it. It's delicious. It's smooth.
So 1775, the world awakened to a new era. And now it's 1775 Coffee Company is bringing you a coffee that embodies that revolutionary spirit. Crafted with passion and precision, our beans are ethically and exclusively sourced from the finest coffee beans farms of Bolivia. Didn't know that. 1775 Coffee Company's farm-to-cup journey ensures the highest quality of authenticity and sustainability from start to finish. With each sip, your palate will recognize and appreciate the dedication and passion that goes into crafting this single-sourced brew. 1775 Coffee Company takes pride in offering customers a truly exceptional coffee experience with their premium coffee collection. But their dedication to this revolution extends beyond the realm of taste. Safeguarding freedom of speech is critical right now, which is why 1775 Coffee Company has joined forces with Rumble in defense of one of our most fundamental rights, freedom of speech. Coffee that's sure to awaken all your senses, including the sense of freedom. So choose 1775 Coffee by going to 1775coffee.com/litter. That's LITTER, and use the code LITTER for 10% off the checkout on your first order. 1775 coffee, brewed to perfection, crafted with revolution.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit
Isn't it swell? The memes make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.